You're listening to BioTalk with Rich Bendis, the only podcast focused on the BioHealth Capital Region. Each episode, we'll talk to leaders in the industry to break down the biggest topics happening today in biohealth.
Hi, this is Rich Bendis, your host for BioTalk, CEO of BioHealth Innovation, and I have one of our partners that we're going to have on our podcast today is the Maryland Department of Commerce, and really the person that we work with most closely is the Director of the Office of Life Sciences at the Maryland Department of Commerce, Stefanie Trop. Steph, welcome to BioTalk.
Thank you, Rich. Thank you so much for having me. It's a real honor and a pleasure to get to join as one of your esteemed guests on this amazing content that you have on this show. I'm a big fan. So thank you for doing this show and having me on in the first place.
You're welcome. And I think everybody's looking forward to hearing from you, and our listeners want to know everything that's going on in Maryland and what the Commerce Department's doing to help grow our life science industry. And more importantly, they want to learn about you first. For people who don't know Steph, very engaging individual, she's going to give us a little bit about her background and how she evolved to where she is today, because no one can do it better than she can. So Steph, why don't you walk us through how you got to be the Director of the Office of Life Sciences?
Sure, happy to do that. Thank you, Rich. So I come to commerce with a background in immunology, infectious disease, clinical trials, data science, and consulting. I'm here in this role representing Maryland, trying to grow the economy in Maryland. I came to Maryland. I became a Marylander for the same reason that a lot of people do, which is for our great higher education system. So I came to Maryland for grad school. I did my Ph.D. at the Johns Hopkins School of Public Health, where I studied cellular immune responses to the malaria parasite, Plasmodium falciparum. There's a lot of malaria research going on at Johns Hopkins, real leader in that field. And from there, I stayed in Maryland and I did a postdoc with the Navy at the Naval Medical Research Center in Silver Spring. And for any trainees out there listening, this is a fairly unique opportunity that we have here in Maryland, that we have all these Department of Defense biomedical research opportunities for staff to go into a career, but also to do your postdoc and your training with them. So that was really neat. It gave me a good stepping stone, a transition from doing my own research in the lab to working in a more clinical and more product development focused environment. And I was working in the enteric diseases department, where our goal was to develop vaccines against one of the bacteria that causes traveler's diarrhea, ETEC. So that's a fun time and always a fun talking point as well. As soon as you mentioned that you worked on traveler's diarrhea in the lab, everyone wants to share with you
Their experience,
their own story. So it's a good icebreaker.
their last trip to Mexico, right?
I was at a conference in Mexico City during my tenure there, and people had interesting experiences during that conference.
I think that's called TMI, Steph.
The conference is, of course, geared on developing solutions to prevent and treat traveler's diarrhea and other mucosal diseases in the case of that trip. But what I also really enjoyed about this experience with the Navy and product development is that as I was leading all the exploratory immunology analysis for these products in our clinical trials, that meant that I got to work with a lot of data. I discovered that I really enjoyed this, both the data that I was generating, which was focused on single cell immune responses, but also other immunology data and biochemical data that were coming out of others in the immunology lab, but also the biochemistry lab who was developing the product, and also clinical data that was coming from our clinical trial sponsors and partners. So I found that I really loved integrating all that data and trying to discover immune correlates of protection and biomarkers. So I developed my skills in bioinformatics and programming and biostatistics. And that took me to my next role, which is a data scientist with Cytobank, which is, for any immunologists out there, it might be familiar, single cell data analysis platform. And it's a startup company. And my role there was primarily focused on data analysis consulting for our clients who are pharma, biotech, academic, even government clients who were just developing more data than they knew what to do with at that point, when it's too much to analyze manually, but they didn't have a handle on computational methods, which is becoming a bigger and bigger need in this day and age. So helping scientists and big programs with their data analysis but also getting to work with our software engineers and our marketing and sales and operations teams. So that was a lot of fun, a good foray into the startup world. And from there, I got to see what it was like working with a big life sciences tool companies because we were acquired during that time by Beckman Coulter Life Sciences. So a lot of different experiences through academia, through government, startup, and big company. And that's when I came to commerce, trying to tie together all these threads that I really enjoyed of supporting our customers, of supporting science and scientists, learning about a lot of different topics rather than being in my own tiny lane of research, working on my own project, and could really apply some of that experience for a very important, meaningful mission of growing our state's economy, creating good jobs and good lives for Marylanders. So that's what took me here. I joined about 3.5 years ago as a member of our life sciences team. Really enjoyed my time so far supporting existing programs, working to build new programs and work with all of our partners, including people and organizations like you, Rich, and BHI, who are really fantastic to work with to promote and advance this mission that we have at Commerce of growing our economy.
Well, thank you, Steph. Your background is very interesting because it's rare that people have all three elements in their background, government, academia, but actually four is small business and large business. So you've had all of that, which makes you very qualified to do what you're doing in your life science role for the state. You've also had different secretaries to work for in your role there. And there's been different changes occur within the priorities within Maryland and the life science industry. But throughout all of that, the Commerce Department's role is to really help support existing and new businesses in the life science industry. So talk a little bit about the types of programs Commerce has developed and some of those that really are anchor programs to support businesses within the state.
Commerce offers a lot of different services, which do come in the form of finance programs, as well as other really valuable resources that we offer. These are programs that can support specific aspects of company growth. One of our signature programs that we talk about specific to life sciences is our BioTax credit, full name Biotechnology Investment Incentive Tax Credit. And this program helps to connect our companies to private capital, which is one of our primary goals, to bring in that private capital. The way this works is that when a private investor invests in a Maryland biotechnology company, they can get a refund back for a portion of that investment as a tax credit. So it comes to you as cash if you don't owe Maryland taxes. And it's a significant portion. It can be 33%. And then depending on if you're in a more highly incentivized zone, it could be as high as 75% of a refund back. So our companies, when they're seeking investment, they can go to their investors and say, we have this program where you can get a return on your investment in your first year. You don't have to wait for our potential exit. If we qualify and work on this together, going through this program, you can see that return right away.
And that doesn't have to be a Maryland investor. The investor can be from anywhere in the United States or around the world, right?
That's right. I mean, there's always fine print. We work closely with our attorneys who run that program. So it can't be a tax haven, but anywhere else, really.
I know that a lot of the companies we work with have taken advantage of that program, and it's a rare program that a lot of states in the United States don't have.
To add on to that, you're based in Montgomery County, and Montgomery County actually has had a match for that, which might not be a little known program. But the way it's worked in recent years is that they have a bucket of funds. And at the end of the year, they see how many Montgomery County companies qualified to use the state program, and they divvy out those funds to those companies.
Very significant attraction tool for both the state of Maryland and Montgomery County. In addition to the tax credit, what are some of the other popular programs, Steph?
We work with stakeholders from spanning small companies, mid-sized companies, large global companies, and the support that we provide really depends on what their needs are. So that can depend. I think one of the most valuable things that we do is, especially in my office in life sciences, is we're able to make really tailored, specific connections. If a company is looking for a co-development partner or a clinical trial sponsor for their asset, we can use our knowledge and experience and our connections to make that bridge. Being able to find a good partner to develop or market your asset is irreplaceable by any tax credit or finance program.
I think also another thing that you do is you have some attraction programs that help attract people, whether they be from the United States or they might be international programs They may not be managed directly in your department, but they are part of the Department of Commerce, correct?
Exactly. Yeah. Specifically for international companies, we run a program called the Global Gateway Soft Landing Program. As you alluded to, this is run not out of our life sciences team, but our international office, which has a number of different programs. We can touch on some other ones that they run as well. But what this program does is we partner very closely with different incubators and accelerators around the state. BHI is one of them, to connect international companies that are looking to expand to the US. We connect with those partners and we help really hold their hand, get them set up with whatever services and space that they need for 6 months. That's a $10,000 stipend towards those services, whether it be rent or legal services or HR services, whatever they need at that moment. And it's been very successful to really de-risk their expansion into the US. And that program can be used across life sciences, but other sectors as well.
And you mentioned some of the other international programs, but also domestic. I think the state also funds Maryland companies to go to international trade shows and conventions. And even just the recent bio convention in Boston, I think that the Maryland Department of Commerce also assisted in getting some local life science companies up into the Boston to the bio convention, correct?
Absolutely. So we help companies support their business development efforts by taking them to conferences, a number of different programs, but in life sciences, we take companies to domestic conferences. Bio is a big one, massive effort there run by Commerce in partnership with other economic development agencies and companies. And part of what we did there was we exhibited. We wanted to get visibility for Maryland, but we also, as you mentioned, sponsored 15 life sciences companies, mostly biotech startups, to attend and do their business development. That is so valuable for them. We got great feedback about the opportunities that they were able to create or close or get close to closing on by attending bio with our support. And they feel that it creates some camaraderie among those companies. It strengthens them. It gives them this knowing that they've got the backing of the state to attend, gives them a little extra confidence and legitimacy when they are talking to potential investors or partners. And on visibility, something that we do that has been really beneficial and easy is we give all of our companies those Maryland flag lanyards. Everybody loves that because they can spot a Marylander from all the way down the exhibit hall. And everyone comes running to the Maryland booth because they want their own lanyard because they lived here for 2 years, 10 years ago. And they just can't wait to come back. So we take companies to bio, which helps them succeed in their business, but also it helps to really amplify the visibility for the state and really put out walking case studies of all of the great resources and support that we offer to help our companies succeed. In addition to bio, over the last several years, we've been taking companies to AdvaMed's the MedTech Conference, which is focused on medical devices, diagnostics, and digital health. And this year, for the first time, I'm super excited that we will be formally attending, taking companies and exhibiting at Health USA in Las Vegas this October. This is a really exciting, growing conference focused on health tech and digital health and a lot of other areas as well. And attending health, by the way, we will be the only state to be formally exhibiting at health. This is one of our strategies towards growing what we're calling our lighthouse sector in computational biology and computational health. So these lighthouse sectors are areas where we are focusing, investing resources in to help the state's economy grow. So those are the shows that we run through my office. But briefly, our international team also does a lot of trade show work to help our companies export and get visibility on the global stage. So in life sciences, they've been taking companies to Medica, to Arab Health, to BioJapan, to Japan Health, and there's funding for that through the international office. But if those conferences aren't right for your needs, through that same program, you can also seek funding to attend international trade shows or do other international marketing efforts that you can work out through our international team. So taking companies to trade shows, attending trade shows ourselves is a big focus of our resources and our time. And the companies that we're able to support find a lot of value in these trade shows.
I had the opportunity to spend a lot of time in the Maryland booth this year, and it's not just the lanyards they come for. They love the Maryland socks that look like the Maryland flag. Everybody from around the United States and around the world wants the Maryland socks.
Absolutely.
And I haven't gotten mine yet, so I'm going to have to get them at the next LSAB meeting.
We'll find you one, Rich.
We'll work on that. But one of the other things that happened at Bio this year in Boston was we had the first BioHealth Capital Region breakfast, which you helped organize. And for people who don't understand what the BioHealth Capital Region is, it's a brand that we created about 7 years ago because a lot of people said Silicon Valley and Route 128 in Boston and Research Triangle have brands, but we don't have a brand for our region because we are interdependent on each other in the region. So we created the BioHealth Capital Region, which is Maryland, D.C., and Virginia. And we had the first regional breakfast and had dignitaries from all three of those areas come together for a breakfast, which Commerce Department helped organize. So, Steph, thanks for organizing that. I think it was very successful this year.
That was great. I'm so glad that that came together. Really, thanks to you, Rich. Of course, I think there were 8 organizations, 8 or 9.
9 organizations that helped sponsor it.
It was really rewarding to see that come together, 8 organizations from government, from private, from nonprofit across Maryland, DC, and Virginia to talk about ways that we can continue to promote this brand of the BioHealth Capital Region while distinguishing each of our unique opportunities within our small and really closely located geographies. And you moderated a great panel where Secretary of Commerce Harry Coker appeared on that panel. And that was a really great introduction, I think, both of all of our partners in the room to him and him to the industry, because he just joined us earlier this year. So we're really excited to have Secretary Coker on board with his really thoughtful leadership and vision. He got to present that really successful breakfast.
The Maryland Tech Council helped Vertex arrange for donating the space for us to have that breakfast, which was very nice to have somebody that was committed to Maryland and have people come into a company's facility that had a presence within the state of Maryland as well.
They were really welcoming, and it was really valuable to have that all set up by the Tech Council and supporting this regional promotion.
And as we talk about the BioHealth Capital Region, the Genetic Engineering News has been conducting a survey, basically, or a study each year to identify the top 10 biopharma clusters in the United States and use independent quantifiable data to determine what the rankings are. Several years ago, they looked at the 270 corridor and the 5-mile stretch of road to really be what they perceived to be the Maryland biocluster. And we've helped educate them over the years that it's really a regional effort where you have Virginia, D.C., and Maryland working together to create what we call now the BioHealth Capital Region brand. And about 7 years ago, we were number 6 in the ranking out of 10. And in 2023, we broke into the top 3 by being 3rd. 2024, we're 3rd. And we just got news that in 2025, late breaking news just this week, that again, in 2025, the BioHealth Capital Region has retained its number 3 ranking, which is good for all of us. And in spite of all of the challenges we're going through right now, that everybody in the United States is also going through with funding or federal appropriations or challenges in some of the interactions and relationships we've had, that we've been able to maintain that. And the Commerce Department has been a strong supporter of the BioHealth Capital Region brand because really the epicenter for everything that's going on in life sciences happens within the state of Maryland. So, Steph, you might want to comment on that.
We agree with that. And yes, congratulations. This is really exciting for us to be, I think, the first BioTalk after the release of the 2025 rankings. So applause for the listeners who can't see. We're excited to maintain that ranking for the 3rd year in a row. We want to stay there. And as you mentioned, it's been a challenging time across the board for everyone this year so far. We have a strong foundation. We have people who really care. We've got lots of talent and innovation, and we'll keep using the evolving opportunities to maintain and grow our preeminence in this time. That having that top 3 biopharma hub is really valuable in all of our promotion efforts. We talk about it when we're out on the road, when we're at shows like Bio or around the world, because it takes deliberate marketing. It doesn't happen by accident that people know what Maryland is or what other well-recognized hubs are. So in large part, thanks to you for really being the engine behind that, we're really proud to maintain that ranking and promote it.
As you know, it takes a village. And basically, one of the things that's unique about the state of Maryland is there are some unique assets that cannot be replicated anywhere in the world. When you have the National Institutes of Health, which is the largest funding research life science entity in the world, and then you have the Food and Drug Administration, and then you have Johns Hopkins, which is the leading research university in life sciences in the world, as well as University System of Maryland, which does over $1.5 billion a year. And then you have the Center for Medicare Services, CMS. And if you look at some of these unique assets and more federal labs than any other state in the United States, in the state of Maryland, we're rich with the assets. And what I think Commerce and BHI is trying to do is to connect people to those assets and help them grow their businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. So those you touched on, a lot of the big distinguishing assets that we have here in Maryland in the region, the access to those federal labs, which is connected closely to our top-notch talent pool, especially in R&D and our innovation through one of the important factors that goes into that ranking is the number of patents in the area. So there's so much here. That proximity to federal labs is really important in practicality. So we have lots of unique talent, scientific, but also that expertise, as you mentioned, from FDA, the regulatory expertise, and CMS, you mentioned that payment expertise. And all of these assets, this knowledge is critical for life sciences companies to get their products to market, to develop it, to regulate it, to get it paid for. So we have all of that right here. As Commerce, we're in the unique position to help connect all of these resources, all of these assets with one another. And we do it in very tangible ways. I mean, coming up the beginning of September is the Maryland Tech Council's Bioinnovation Conference. And who is our keynote speaker? It's the head of the FDA. You couldn't have that happening anywhere. We involve leaders from all of these agencies in our events to create opportunities to collaborate, to partner, to talk. One thing that we run in Department of Commerce is the Maryland Life Sciences Advisory Board. And this is a unique forum where we bring together all these stakeholders from around the state, from industry, from small and large business, from federal government, from higher education, from even Department of Defense, to hear from on the ground what is going on in the industry and what the needs are, and relay that to the state leadership so we can respond to the needs of all these different partners, stakeholders across the state. So that Life Sciences Advisory Board is something that I've gotten to run recently in my time at Commerce. Now it's been a really great opportunity for that board because we have our new secretary, we've got some new leadership within Commerce, and they've been really engaged so far and continue to be really engaged with that board. So we have even more ears on the ground directly getting up to leadership at the state to hear the needs of all those stakeholders.
It's also a privilege to serve on that, and also having Chancellor Jay Perman for the University System of Maryland be the chair, providing great leadership, and he has a way of bringing people together and connecting them through that. And I think one of the roles of the Life Science Advisory Board is to actually help plan the direction for the future of life sciences in the state of Maryland. And I think that's something that you might talk a little bit, because there's a new area of focus which is becoming important to Maryland. When you look at AI and machine learning and quantum computing, there's a new term that people are focused on called computational health, which has been identified as a priority with the Life Science Advisory Board in the state of Maryland. So could you elaborate a little bit on the computational health priority for Maryland now, Steph?
Earlier this year, Governor Moore proposed a plan for targeted economic growth in the state. And they pointed to 3 different industries where we could invest efforts to really get the biggest return on economic growth. And most interesting to us, of course, within the life sciences is that computational biology, computational health was named as what we're calling one of those lighthouse sectors where we can really focus our effort for the most growth. What we're seeing across the country and around the world is the really accelerated importance of computational methods in applying some understanding to biological data so that we can create health and healthcare solutions. We've been generating lots and lots and lots of biological data for years, And alongside that, we have had the advent of new technologies in computing, in machine learning, as well as computing hardware to store and share data. And now we are at this really exciting intersection where we have opportunities to quickly implement solutions to increase the efficiency and pace of drug design, of clinical trial design, of a lot of operational procedures within our healthcare system. We're seeing a lot of computing and large language models and AI going into things like recording notes of healthcare visits and extracting important information from that. So this computational health can span a lot of different sectors within life sciences, in healthcare operations, in biotech, as in drug development, in clinical trial design and execution, and in medical devices and digital health, things like wearables that are generating and analyzing lots of data as well. We have all of these things here in Maryland, and we're working on strategies to help support these companies that are really computationally focused by connecting them to resources that we have here, talent in AI, talent in computer science, to computing facilities, and to our healthcare systems to help accelerate the development, the commercialization, and the implementation of some of these solutions. So we're working on some specific programs in the pipeline. We already have a lot going on here already, like the Institute for Health Computing from the University of Maryland, which is doing amazing things in this arena already. So we're really excited to identify the best ways to continue to partner with them to grow their programs, especially in the arenas of entrepreneurship. They're working not just in the academic setting, but they're also working with corporate partners and trying to spin out companies and create technology. So they're doing really exciting things as one strong example already of computational health programs in the state that we can support as we develop this strategy.
It's great to see that computational health is one of the three priorities for the state, and it really matches well with the theme that we're going to have for the 11th Annual BioHealth Capital Region Forum, which the Department of Commerce has always been a partner of and supports. And the forum and BioHealth Capital Region Week is going to be September 23rd through 25th. And the theme this year is where human and artificial intelligence converge. And we know that Maryland, D.C., and Virginia have a lot of the assets we've talked about already, where we're trying to create an environment for them to interact and converge with one another, just as pharma companies right now might be using AI to look at their pipeline for future development of drugs and which ones should they prioritize, or where clinical trials should be conducted. And you mentioned some of the major resources like the FDA and CMS, who are all using computational data to a greater degree in their evaluations, where they set pricing standards or whether they're looking at the regulatory environment. So we think that the forum that's going to happen September 23rd and 25, and Commerce is a sponsor of it, fits right into the theme of computational health, which has become a priority for the state of Maryland. And we know it's important to DC and Virginia as well. So we want to thank you for your support for the forum, which is coming up. And we know that you guys help participate in the planning of it and helping us find the speakers that we need for it, as well as the sponsors for that. So thank you for your contribution to that, Steph.
Thanks. We're really proud to have that happen here and to support the event. I'll give a shout out to my colleague, Dr. Matt Cimino, who is serving directly on the planning committee for the forum. And what is this, the 11th year, the 12th year? How many now?
The 11th year.
It's a huge success. It's a big talking point for us all year round. To your credit, it's really exciting to see the success that you have had in recruiting those sponsorships, showing just the investment of different stakeholders in this region to host this event. And it's getting more and more attention. I'm aware of multiple international delegations of companies that are coming to the area at that time so they can participate in, even sponsor the event. So that's a great execution on that BioHealth Capital Region brand that we're promoting. We're really excited about it, really proud of it.
Yeah, and you mentioned Matt Cimino. He's helping bring a delegation from Finland, Sweden, and Estonia, 15 companies that are coming to Maryland and will be coming and participate in the conference as well. And we always have strong participation from England, Israel, Korea, and many other countries that participate in the forum as well. So are there things that you'd like to talk about, Steph, that we haven't brought up today related to commerce's role or your role or where you see this industry going in the future?
I think I just want your listeners to know that we are here and we are here to support. Keep in touch with us. Get on our email list. Maybe we put the link in the description for the podcast. But as of right now, we have programs opening up soon. We've got that BITSI program we talked about that'll open up at the end of August. We have open our Advanced Manufacturing 4.0 grant. That's non-dilutive funding opportunity open right now. We have a grant for infrastructure, the Build Our Future grant coming very soon. So if you haven't met with us, we are here to help. We are free and we work with Maryland companies in life sciences or those working with life sciences companies. So part of our ecosystem is also the service providers that specialize in working with biotech, medtech, digital health companies. So we're really here and eager to help in any way that we can. So reach out at any time.
Great. Well, we've been talking to Stefanie Trop, who's the Director, Office of Life Sciences at the Maryland Department of Commerce. And if people want to get in touch with the Department of Commerce, what's the website, Steph?
We have a long URL for our website, but I can give you the email address. It's easy to remember for my team is lifesciences@maryland.gov. Lifesciences@maryland.gov, rather than giving you the full URL to our website. But if you Google Maryland Commerce,
Maryland Commerce Department, you can find it.
yes.
Okay, great. Well, I want to thank you for being on BioTalk today. It's always great to interact and work with you, Steph. You're very supportive of all the companies within the state of Maryland and the region and are an easy partner to work with. So we thank you very much for all you do for the state of Maryland and the BioHealth Capital Region.
Same to you. Thank you so much for having me, Rich.
Thanks for listening to BioTalk with Rich Bendis.